Good evening. Thanks for joining me this Saturday on 7Edition. I'm Shafika Razali and these are your headlines. MPs, top civil servants will be compelled to declare assets by year-end. Ipoh mayor to be sacked for going AWOL. And 22 more Penang JPJ enforcement officers arrested. Good evening. We begin tonight's bulletin with this story. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, will call the Penang Road Transport Department JPJ Director and its top management to assist in the investigations into corruption cases involving the department officers if necessary. MACC Deputy Chief Commissioner Datuk Sri Azam Baki said the state JPJ senior officers suspected of involvement in the case will be called in only after the process of recording statements from the detained officers have been completed. To date, no less than 22 Penang JPJ enforcement officers had been called in this week to provide statements to facilitate investigations into the matter.
Saya tidak tolak kemungkinan pertamanya nak memanggil pihak-pihak pegawai kanan daripada JPJ, tetapi mereka ni biasanya kita akan panggil selepas kita panggil pegawai-pegawai yang disyaki dahulu. Dan selepas kita mengumpulkan bukti, itu satu proses yang biasa. Beberapa pengesahan kalau kita perlu, kita akan panggil pegawai kanan yang terlibat.
On Wednesday, the Georgetown Magistrates Court ordered 30 suspects, including 24 state JPJ enforcement personnel, to be remanded for 7 days to assist in the probe. They were allegedly involved in protecting lorry drivers who committed various traffic offences around Penang. Earlier reports said that the detained JPJ officers bearing ranks between grade 19 and 32 were believed to have received monthly payments of between 10,000 and 32,000 ringgit for protecting the lorry drivers. Meanwhile, the MACC have arrested another 22 Penang JPJ enforcement officers believed to be involved in the lorry drivers' protection racket. The men aged between 32 and 55 were arrested at the state MACC office between 11 a.m. and 4:15 p.m. today. According to sources, all of them were believed to have received a monthly payment of 10,000 ringgit in total. Sources also said it was suspected that the accumulated amount received by this group has reached 140,000 ringgit to date. Datuk Sri Azam also confirmed the arrest. All members of parliaments and senior civil servants under the JUSA C and above will be compelled to declare their assets. The graft buster is currently drafting the amendments to the MACC Act and it is expected to be enforced by the end of this year. According to MACC Deputy Chief Commissioner of Prevention Datuk Shamsun Barin Muhammad Jamil, the declaration of assets among MPs and top civil servants are currently voluntary.
Kod etika tu tidak kira akan membuat mereka dikenakan tindakan undang-undang sekiranya mereka tidak berbuat demikian. Ia hanyalah kod of etik saja. So dia tak ada force of law tu. Sebab itu yang kita mencadangkan supaya adanya satu undang-undang yang khusus berhubung perkara itu.
He added that the changes to the MACC Act warranting a mandatory declaration of assets by elected representatives and senior government officials will then be tabled to the Cabinet. Once approved, it will be tabled in Parliament. To date, 122 MPs and 76 top civil servants have declared their assets. Moving on, a motorcyclist was killed in an accident with a lorry and a car at the Kesas Highway heading to Shah Alam, Selangor at around midnight last night. In the incident, the victim, M. Gominathan, aged 31 from Klang, was pronounced dead at the scene due to severe head injuries. The victim was said to be on his way to Northport when the accident occurred. It was said that his motorbike had hit the rear of another vehicle at Jalan Pelabuhan Barat, causing him to fall from his machine. A lorry lorry which was trailing behind him was unable to stop in time and run over the victim before dragging him for about 150 meters. His body was brought to the Tengku Ampuan Rahimah Klang Hospital for post-mortem. Members of the public who have information on the incident have been urged to come forward and contact the Klang Selatan Traffic Police to assist in investigations into the accident. Elsewhere, a 19-year-old teenager died when the motorcycle he was riding brushed with a lorry, causing him to fall and to be dragged under the heavy vehicle for 100 meters. The accident occurred at Guthrie Highway from Sungai Buloh to Shah Alam at about 1:45 a.m. this morning. The victim was identified as Muhammad Yusuf Sahul Hamid from Kampung Paya, Jaras. A 7-member team from Kota Anggerik, Bukit Jelutong Fire and Rescue Department rushed to the scene to extricate the victim's body from under the lorry. Muhammad Yusuf's body was then brought to Sungai Buloh Hospital for post-mortem. The lorry driver has been detained to assist investigations under the Road Transport Act. Now, Malaysia will only succeed in becoming a developed nation if there is a balance between physical development and environmental sustainability in the country's growth. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, who said this today, also reminded all quarters that environmental preservation is as important as efforts to develop the country's economy and society. In his speech at the Earth Day celebration at Taman Tugu Negara, the Premier pointed out that conserving the environment is not only an individual responsibility, but a collective effort that must be carried out continuously regardless of any circumstances.
Kita telah melihat kesan akibat daripada pembangunan yang tidak teratur dan hanya menekankan faktor keuntungan semata-mata. Perlu kita sedari usaha kita untuk menjadikan sebuah negara maju tidak akan tercapai atau diiktiraf jika apa yang boleh kita perlihatkan adalah bangunan-bangunan pencakar langit, tetapi sungai-sungai kita tercemar, hutan belantara kita hanya tinggal tanah dan yang tandus, dan udara yang kita hirup teruk tercemar.
Tun Dr. Mahathir also said the Taman Tugu Negara is a testament to the government's commitment to embracing a balanced development between physical development and environmental sustainability. The Taman Tugu project is a non-profit corporate social responsibility initiative led by Khazanah Nasional Berhad with the support of various public agencies and private sector organizations. Apart from turning the site into an urban forest park, the project also aims to encourage Malaysians to protect the natural heritage. On another matter, the federal government said it has not decided anything on compensation sought by state governments for their forest and wildfire reserves that are used as water catchment areas. Water, Land and Natural Resources Minister Dr. A. Xavier Jayakumar said all the state governments stated they want compensation from the federal government regarding the matter.
All the state governments want compensation. Whether we will be able to give them the compensation is a different question. Yesterday we discussed that there are other ways in order for the federal government to look into compensation as far as the state is concerned, especially in terms of the forest industry. And we also have plans in order to have plantation forests and forest industry to continue.
He was commenting on the Pahang government's plan to seek more than 17 billion ringgit compensation from the federal government for the forest and wildfire reserves in the state used as water catchments for the benefit of people outside Pahang. Pahang Menteri Besar Datuk Sri Wan Rosdi Wan Ismail said the land involved covered 1 million hectares and this forced the state government to bear high opportunity cost. Xavier said there are other ways to resolve this issue, especially in terms of forest industry. These include forest plantations, which is already a very lucrative business, which can serve as a new economy for the state. The government's plan to reduce the size of the civil service will not affect the policy of having 1% participation by the disabled or OKU. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail, who revealed this, assured that post reserve for OKUs in the public sector would be maintained.
Kita nakkan ramai lagi, sekarang belum lagi penuh kan. Jadi kita nakkan untuk tempat-tempat yang boleh, yang khusus untuk OKU itu di-preserve lah.
The Deputy Premier also said the government was currently focused on meeting the 1% quota for OKUs before planning on increasing it. Various efforts were also being taken by the government to encourage the private sector to hire OKUs, including tax exemption for employers on expenditure to meet their needs. As of the end of last year, some 3,800 OKUs, or 0.31%, were appointed to a range of positions in the civil service. Datuk Zamri Man will be removed as Ipoh Mayor after going absent without leave, or AWOL, for months. Perak ESCO member Yong Chu Kiong said Datuk Zamri, who he understood to be unwell, however, had only submitted his sick leave for 2 months and he has been missing from work for more than 3 months now. Yu also said he had visited Datuk Zamri's home but could not find him. It was reported that Datuk Zamri, who was appointed as Ipoh Mayor in 2015, was last seen in public at a cycling event in August last year. According to the law, a mayor or council president is eligible to take up to 90 days of sick leave. The Crown Prince of Kelantan, Dr. Tengku Muhammad Faiz Petra, has tied the knot with a Swedish sweetheart, Sophie Louise Johansson, at the Istana Balai Besar Kota Baru last night. The marriage of the couple was solemnised by Dato' Arya Diraja Kam Kelantan Sharia Court Chief Judge, Dato' Daud Muhammad, while the marriage sermon was read by the Mufti of Kelantan, Dato' Muhammad Shukri Muhammad. The solemnisation ceremony, which was followed by a royal wedding reception, was attended only by close members of the Kelantan royal family and the couple's close friends. The 45-year-old Crown Prince has ordered that any wedding gifts be channeled to welfare bodies in the state. When we return, the challenges faced by millennial parents. Details next. Welcome back. Today's style of parenting is a lot more different compared to the older times. The rules of bringing up children have seen a sea of change in the past few decades through constant evolution. Past generations each had their own unique struggles to navigate, and some say it's even tougher nowadays as parents need to cater to the rising cost of living. Recently, I took a look at how millennial parents fully carry out their commitments in life while raising their children. Here's the story. These days, many young adults choose to start a family at a later age as they want to focus on building a financially stable career. But for those who choose to start a family at a younger age, they face challenges in maintaining a work-life balance, and they may feel stressed out or burnt out because of the challenges they face in raising children. If you're a millennial parent born between the 1980s and the 2000s, the biggest issue in modern parenting that has always been the talk among young parents is balance. Young Malaysians these days are citing the high cost of living as their reason to still stay on their job, which challenges the balance between their career and family life. On top of having their daily job, some opt to go the extra mile by taking up a part-time job or opening up their own business.
Bagi saya, kenapa ibu bapa kena bekerja, dua-dua kena bekerja sebab perbelanjaan sekarang sangat-sangat tinggi. Okay? Saya kerja, husband kerja, tak cukup dengan tu. Kita kena buat bisnes. Saya sendiri buat bisnes. Dapatlah juga sikit cover-cover apa yang yelah kan, apa yang kita nak.
As a result, working parents are inclined to resort for convenience by sending their kids to daycare centres so that their children are cared for while they are out working. But how much does childcare services cost these days? Statistics show that the cost of raising children has risen dramatically over the past decade, seeing an increase of around 40%. In addition to that, studies also revealed that working parents spend an average of 1,000 ringgit a month per child when sending them to a kindergarten or nursery. These expenses would also set millennial parents back 3,000 ringgit a month on average as their child grows. Now, according to a research paper conducted by a researcher at IIUM titled Work-Care Balance Among Parents Workers in Malaysian Urban Organisations, the domestic and financial demands have a different effect on the relationship between a parent and child compared to the old days. Interestingly, despite their career and having to balance things out, parents are able to make more time for their child and are more attentive toward them. Today's fathers, in particular, are also spending a lot more time, about 59 minutes a day, with their children compared to dads in the 1960s, who spent an average of only 16 minutes a day on parenting.
It's a bit of a challenge being a parent and doing my work. But I can really save time if I do the house chores very quick. Like me, I don't have any nanny, I don't have any maid at home. My wife and I do believe we have to raise our own children because I don't want my children to be affected by other people in our life.
While both millennial parents commit to a daily job, other sacrifices, such as spending less time on their hobbies, are made in order to fully focus on their children.
Yang waktu anak yang first lahir, tak cukup tidur. Jadi semua kena korbankan segala yang saya minat. Saya suka travel, tak boleh dah travel macam dulu. Okay, semua kena utamakan anak.
Although parenting is no easy feat, it's proven that there are ways to go around the challenges that come with it, such as the use of the internet, in which almost all young parents would often seek help from. I'll be touching more on how the Internet of Things is helping modern parents next week. Until then, Shafika Razali for 7Edition. Now let's hop on to our daily segment Clickbait, where we take a look at what's trending and making rounds in the cyber world today. Bullying is a serious issue and can happen to anyone. Recently, it was reported by Sinchu Daily that a 13-year-old boy was seen in a viral video being mentally and physically abused by older teenagers in an incident that left netizens outraged. The young boy was clearly outnumbered as the elder boys, believed to be 16-year-olds, surrounded and chided him. One of the elder boys then suddenly slapped the victim across the face, leaving him stunned. Here's the full story.
According to Sinchu, the young boy studies at a secondary school in Taman Megaharia, Johor, which may suggest that the incident took place somewhere nearby. Reports have mentioned that the teenagers had approached disturbing the boy before pestering him to take off his glasses. Netizens were furious at the teenager, whom they referred to as a coward, for not picking a fight with someone their own size. Many others also called for action and attention from authorities. The bully's father, however, had posted an apology on Facebook, asking the public for forgiveness.
Now updated as of 7 p.m, here are the top trending topics and searches on the internet today. It's time for our My Game On segment, bringing you the latest esports news in Malaysia. As the Southeast Asian SEA Games draws closer, the race is on to select esports athletes who will represent Malaysia in the biennial event. Thus, tournaments such as the FV Cup C Major 2019 are important competitions in the local esports calendar to help the esports athletes prepare for the regional games. Wanizul Islam has more.
The Malaysian fighting games community has been growing over the past few years, and as you can see behind me, the players here have come in full support for the FV Cup XC Major 2019. Now the question is, will they be ready for the upcoming SEA Games in Manila, Philippines. I'm here to find out more. Let's go. The tournament not only provided a platform for the Malaysian fighting games community, MACC, to train, but also allowed professional players to earn valuable points on the Capcom Pro Tour. With the support of over 200 esports players, the event saw many local players competing with star gamers from Japan, Algeria, China and Taiwan, amongst others. However, training and gaining experience through tournaments will not suffice for players wishing to represent their countries on the international arena.
Tapi mereka juga memerlukan sokongan daripada banyak pihak untuk penyediaan diri mereka untuk ke sana. Mereka perlukan bantuan dari segi coaching, dari segi logistik dan semua ni akan bantu mereka untuk menyediakan diri mereka untuk bertanding dan juga mendapat keputusan yang lebih tinggi.
They are always ready if they are given the correct platform, they're given the correct support, in overall sponsorship like meals, flight tickets, accommodation, training platform, training room. They are there, they are ready, they are just waiting for that.
As the Malaysian contingent prepares the esports athletes by conducting state trials and competitions, international exposure is needed to help with moral support of the players.
We are hoping they could get gold medal from back from SEA Games, but the competition is quite tough actually in the Southeast Asia region. So whatever supports they need, I think when it comes to the community, they really needed moral support. Other than that, if we could send them more over to international tournaments, they could get more experience. So that's how they could improve.
With esports being featured for the first time in a multi-sport competition sanctioned by the International Olympic Committee, first impressions will be key to ensuring the future of esports on the international stage. Apart from the fighting game Tekken 7, there are 4 other confirmed titles for the SEA Games, namely Dota 2, StarCraft 2, Mobile Legends and Arena of Valor. The 2019 SEA Games, to be held in the Philippines, is set to kick off on November 30th until December 10th. One is on Islam, 7Edition.
Now, Malaysia will not rule out the possibility of bidding to host the first ever Mobile Legends World Cup, which will be held in a Southeast Asian country. Game developers Moon Tuan, however, have not revealed the actual date for the World Championship or whether it will be hosted before or after the SEA Games at the end of this year. Youth and Sports Minister Syed Abdul Rahman confirmed that his ministry, along with the National Sports Council, will do their best to bring the inaugural championship to Malaysia. Organisers of the World Cup also have yet to decide on the official name of the championship. However, it was confirmed that the competition will involve the 4 biggest regions, namely the United States, South America, Europe and Southeast Asia. Mobile Legends is a multiplayer online mobile arena game developed and published by Moon Tuan in 2016. The game is also one of 6 esports categories to be contested in the upcoming 2019 SEA Games. Coming up, Democrats issue subpoena for unredacted version of Mola report. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now on to foreign news. At least 10 people died and 45 others are injured in northern Peru after a bus on its way to the burial of the country's former president, Alan Garcia, crashed. The accident occurred on the Pan-American Highway when the bus crashed into a highway median wall. The bus was transporting about 50 passengers from Lima to Tarapoto, a 20-hour drive north, when it careened into the Hualaga in a forested region less than halfway into the journey and crashed into the retaining wall of a bridge. 5 passengers who were travelling on the upper deck were thrown from the bus and died after landing on rocks in the creek of a riverbed below the highway. Authorities confirmed that a delegation from the American Popular Revolutionary Alliance, or APRA political party, were travelling on the bus to attend the funeral of Garcia. Deadly bus crash happened periodically in Peru. In February last year, a double-decker bus veered off a mountain road and plunged into a ravine, killing at least 44 people. A month earlier, a bus crashed into a ravine in Peru's central coastal area, leaving 52 dead. According to the country's official figures, nearly 2,700 people died in traffic accidents in 2016 alone. U.S. Congressional Democrat Jerry Nadler issued a subpoena on Friday to the Justice Department in an attempt to force Attorney General William Barr to hand over the unredacted version of the Mueller report, which probes into Russian interference in the 2016 U.S. election. Nadler issued the subpoena for the full version of the Mueller report and the underlying evidence by May 1st. The 448-page document is the result of a 22-month investigation by Robert Mueller, appointed to investigate possible Russian collusion with the Trump campaign. The report also highlighted Mueller's investigation into episodes of Trump's potential obstruction of justice, although it does not ultimately come to a conclusion one way or another as to whether the president obstructed the investigation. Nadler and other Democrats have accused Barr of impropriety in the handling of Mueller's final report, claiming he provided a rosier picture of Mueller's findings with respect to the president's conduct than is detailed in the report. Ultimately, Barr judged Mueller's evidence to be insufficient to charge Trump with obstructing justice, which had been revealed 3 weeks before making the report public. In a statement on Friday, Nadler said he was willing to work with the Justice Department to reach a reasonable accommodation, but stressed he would not accept a situation that leaves most of Congress in the dark. That brings us to the end of 7 Edition. We leave you with the latest recipe from Tiny Kitchen. This time, it's wonton soup. I'm Shafika Razali. Thank you for watching and have a pleasant evening.